Hello, I am Gian, the founding pastor for Victory Church in Odessa, Texas. Today is January 15th, 2019. We are going to do our Bible study, lesson number 61 in our Bible timeline. The scripture that we are going to read is Genesis chapter 29, from the verse 1 through 29. This evening with me is my wife Tracy. How are you doing, sweetheart?
Doing wonderful.
Great. Good to have you here with me. This is awesome. And also our brother Al Serrano. How you doing?
Good.
Good? Terrific. Showing off your new haircut.
Yeah.
And he's wearing his cowboy shirt.
Oh.
Easy, Chief. I'm in the zone.
Well, what can I say about it?
Too
Too bad. But we tried. That's what we can say.
That's right.
And this is a good time to be grateful because we are alive and we can study God's Word. So let's read the portion of this study.
Genesis 29, 1 through 29. Then Jacob continued his trip. He went to the country in the east. He looked and saw a well in the field. There were 3 flocks of sheep lying near the well, where the sheep drank water. There was a large rock covering the mouth of the well. When all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the rock away from the well. Then all the sheep could drink from the water. After the sheep were full, the shepherds would put the rock back in its place. Jacob said to the shepherds there, "Brothers, where are you from?" They answered, "We are from Haran." Then Jacob said, "Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor?" Then the shepherds answered, "We know him." Then Jacob said, "How is he?" They answered, "He is well. Look, that is his daughter Rachel coming now with his sheep." Jacob said, "Look, it is still day and long before the sun sets. It is not yet time for the animals to be gathered together for the night. So give them water and let them go back into the field." But they said, "We cannot do that until all the flocks are gathered together. Then we will move the rock from the well, and all the sheep will drink." While Jacob was talking with the shepherds, Rachel came with her father's sheep. It was her job to take care of the sheep. Rachel was Laban's daughter. Laban was the brother of Rebekah, Jacob's mother. When Jacob saw Rachel, he went and moved the rock and gave water to the sheep. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and cried. He told her that he was from her father's family. He told her that he was the son of Rebekah. So Rachel ran home and told her father. When Laban heard the news about his sister's son Jacob, he ran to meet him. Laban hugged and kissed him and brought him to his house. Jacob told Laban everything that had happened. Then Laban said, "This is wonderful. You are from my own family." So Jacob stayed with Laban for a month. One day Laban said to Jacob, "You are a relative of mine. It is not right for you to continue working for me without pay. What should I pay you?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The older was Leah, and the younger was Rachel.
Please.
Leah's eyes were gentle, but Rachel was beautiful. Jacob loved Rachel, so he said to Laban, "I will work 7 years for you, if you will allow me to marry your daughter Rachel." Laban said, "It would be better for her to marry you than someone else, so stay with me." So Jacob stayed and worked for Laban for 7 years, but it seemed like a very short time because he loved Rachel very much. After 7 years, Jacob said to Laban, "Give me Rachel so that I can marry her. My time of work for you is finished." So Laban gave a party for all the people in that place. That night, Laban brought his daughter Leah to Jacob. Jacob and Leah had sexual relations together. Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter to be her maid. In the morning, Jacob saw that it was Leah he had slept with, and he said to Laban, "You have tricked me. I worked hard for you so that I could marry Rachel. Why did you trick me?" Laban said, "In your country, we don't allow the younger daughter. In our country, we don't allow the younger daughter to marry before the older daughter. Continue for the full week of the marriage ceremony, and I will also give you Rachel to marry. But you must serve me another 7 years." So Jacob did this and finished the week. Then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as a wife. Laban gave his maid Bilhah to his daughter Rachel to be made. So Jacob had sexual relations with Rachel also. And Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah. Jacob worked for Laban for another 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Awkward.
that's kind of.
It's awkward. It's
not
a good
awkward,
reality
that's
show.
just-
Yeah.
Well,
Really?
no difference between then and now.
There's a show like
In
that.
that part of the world and here, I mean everywhere. So you remember when a few months ago we studied the part when I'm sorry, Eliezer
Yeah.
went to the land of Laban, and he met Rebecca.
Right.
You remember that part when we were discussing about the character of these people?
Right.
Indeed.
Okay, so now here we are again.
But now it's
Same
Laban's,
people.
yeah, nephew.
Now is Laban the one doing these things. So what are your thoughts initially?
Oh man, it's obviously that was shady. He didn't mention. If he'd have just mentioned, "Hey, look, man, you can't marry Rachel because
Yeah.
she's younger," ahead of time, then we'd have known. But the entire 7 years was predicated on the fact that he didn't get to marry Rachel. So no, I mean, so it was kind of like I'd have felt kind of.
He wanted to make. Seemed like he wanted to make sure his older daughter was married, and he just kind of slid it under the table.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
he had to plan that the
And
whole
maybe
time.
this is a bad thing to say, but obviously they didn't have electricity back there, and I'm thinking it must have been really, really dark to not know it was.
This is.
Is it Rebecca or Rachel? Rachel in there. It's like I've always wondered, how do you not know? Did she,
It was
that's all I'm going to say. It's like, how did you not know it was her?
It is interesting. Like this is not the first time that someone's been tricked because of dark and light. I just find it hard to believe sometimes.
She
when
had to
that-
just been whispering, Jacob. Yeah.
The thing that I think I have to look at here is that it was a party. What they didn't really talk about, he must have been really, really, really,
Drunk.
really drunk.
And it could have
I
been
mean, bottom
loud.
line is that's.
It could have been loud
I
outside.
don't care how loud it is. I mean, the guy was drunk in order to not know that he was
Laban
having
made
sexual relations
sure,
with somebody
yeah.
else. And were they like twins or something? Were like exactly the same? 'Cause
No,
wouldn't you be
they
able
were
to
not.
tell?
Well, not in looks, but
That's the thing.
we're wondering, what do you think?
you see, friends, that is exactly.
I know you're wondering the same thing.
That is exactly the thing that we all are wondering how
What in the world?
that happened. Fishy. That was
Because
not
as
right.
a woman, I would have been eyeing the man before I met him. I would have known pretty much every feature of this man.
and vice
Pretty
versa.
much,
And vice
How did
versa.
they? I'm sorry. How did they not know?
Well, the truth of the matter is that this man, Jacob, now is married, and then he finds out the very next morning when
Whoops.
he wakes up.
Can you imagine when he woke up? Hello.
What are you doing here? "Well, I'm your wife."
What?
What? No, you are not. You're not my wife. You are not Rachel. Wow. I need to speak with your father. What happened here? And well, the truth is that sometimes we get into situations, strange situations, because we do not know everything about it.
We didn't read the fine writing.
So let me ask you this: have you lived situations like this when you are in some predicament because you didn't know everything about it?
You were such in a hurry
And,
that you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, probably you were just thinking, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, without thinking that there were some special conditions that you didn't read. Particularly in these days with loans, there is a clause. It's called the balloon payment. Be careful with that clause in your contracts, because that is one of the things. You go and buy a new car
Yeah.
to the dealership or used car, it doesn't matter.
Well, listen, all you young ones. The
Yeah.
older ones have learned.
Ooh, there are some items there that you probably don't think about it, but at the end it's difficult. This is the thing. So what do we do in those cases? We feel tricked. People are actually hiding the whole truth to us, and then what? And then what? There are individuals that we can blame in situations like that. But are we going to hate them? Think about it. When you are being used by some people, people in the dark, people that are used to manipulate others, and eventually you are one of those that was manipulated, and then you realize this was wrong. So what you gonna do? Anyone wants to share something? What do you do when you find yourself in a situation like that somebody tricked you?
You learn. You learn from it.
Well, I can say that when we first got my car, if you remember, they told us that they would give me the warranty for free. And so we're going through the thing here and all the long papers, and I don't know if it was underneath warranty or if they added it somewhere else, and you saw it and you said, whoa, 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 what's this? Well, it was for the warranty, and they tricked us and put it somewhere else. And so thank goodness we weren't stuck in it, but we immediately called the supervisor and let our voice be known.
Right. Well, in any kind of financial deals that you want to get there, read the whole contract. Be careful with these things. When it's something cheap, well, as you say, sometimes we just learn the lesson. We don't buy certain things, or we are careful with certain individuals. But what do we do with things that are really expensive or high loans? That is my point to you right now. First of all, be careful with documents of that kind. Read everything, try to understand everything. If you do not understand, you better wait, because later could be too late. But what if you are already in a situation like that? You can be upset, you can blame people, but this is the deal, my friend. Everything in life comes from our heart, through our minds, through our actions. So watch this. Is your heart the most important thing that you need to take care of?
Yes.
And when you find yourself that somebody tricked you, manipulated you, and you are in trouble, even though you don't like the idea, you must forgive that individual. Because without forgiveness, you will not be able to think clearly. And that is what Jacob did. He realized, he worked 7 years. 7 years sounds like a short period of time, but it's not. You know that.
For Leah.
For everyone.
Was it 7 years total or 14 years?
Initially, for Rachel, he agreed to work 7 years.
But now it's an additional
And now
7 years.
another
So
7
14 years.
Right. It was frustrating. But you know what? Love always wins.
Right.
And that is
Doing
exactly
the right thing
what
always
we
wins.
find here. Jacob realized, I love Rachel. I want to marry her. So,
What am I going to do? I
you,
have
my
to-
tricky father-in-law, I want you to know I forgive you. So now, what can we do here? And that was the end of this situation. Wherever you are, if you are troubled today, probably you are in a difficult contract with a provider, with a lender, or maybe you sign a contract to work for somebody, and then you realize that there are conditions that are not good for you. Remember, first you have to forgive those individuals. You need to forgive yourself. You need to have your head clear. All right? That's very important. And second, you need to focus on the positive. You need to find what is positive in any situation that you are in that moment. Because if you keep thinking about what is wrong, you will become bitter.
You will just stir yourself up higher and higher
You will
and
be
higher.
more and more
You'll be
angry
very
every
upset.
day, very upset, and you will not be able to perform, to operate. Do you guys know that many people get terrible illnesses because
Of course,
they
stress is
cannot
awful.
forgive?
Organs shut down because of stress.
Stress is terrible. We know now here in the country we are going through this viral thing, and they are talking about new viruses and all that. we get that. But if to that you add stress and lack of forgiveness, watch out. Watch out, friends. We need to learn to forgive, and we forgive once, twice, and every single
Right.
time that people hurt us. We need to learn to forgive and let it go, to have a clear mind, and again, focus on the positive. Think about it. What are the positive things in the midst of your circumstances? Very important. You know what is interesting here in this scenario is that the Lord had a plan for Jacob. He had a plan. What was the plan? The plan was that Jacob will be the in terms of generations.
Third generation.
It's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, right? And here in this generation, we will have the 12 tribes of Israel. In the following chapters, we will find out more about this change of name. Jacob's name was changed
Right.
from Jacob to Israel, and you will understand more about it in the following lessons. But here, this is interesting. There was a plan, and even though Jacob was manipulated and abused, because the Lord had a plan, everything worked well for him.
And that whole 14 years, even Laban saw how blessed Jacob was. As long as Laban, was it Laban? Yeah, Laban, correct? I'm thinking of Nahor. As long as Laban was around Jacob, he prospered as well. So of course he never wanted Jacob to leave. And, you know, that happens later in the years, but he was always blessed. I mean, Jacob was always blessed, no
That's
matter
correct.
what happened to him.
We thank you so much for your time. In the following lessons, and don't miss the next chapters. Remember, every Tuesday we have our Bible study here at Victory Church. If you are in Odessa, come to our church. The address is in the screen, 2400 West 81st Street in Odessa, Texas. And also, please, if you want to ask a question or make a comment, feel free. Here's the email address and the phone number. The website, visit our website, and then you can click in the watch section, and you can go through 3 ways to watch videos: Vimeo, YouTube, or Roku. And in the following lessons, we will talk more about what happened after that. Just remember this, very important. The Lord has a plan for you. Somebody tricked you, somebody was cruel to you, abused you, manipulated you. If you trust in the Lord, if you forgive, the plan that the Lord has for you will be accomplished. Trust in Him. Have a beautiful week. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. Awesome. And Tracy, sweetheart, awesome. See you Sunday in church, right?
See.
See. All right. Thank you.